So, why should any immigrant or African move to where you are?
Okay. First of all, where we are is a very lovely country. They respect um, humanity. They welcome foreigners. As a matter of fact, immigrants is one of their top priorities. Their doors are open to welcome foreigners, to come in here and reside. And then foreigners have the same right with, the citizens of this country. So when I came here, before I came here from my country, I was told so many negative things, you know, about this where I am today. But when I came here, it was a different ball game altogether, and which is why after my studies, I've been here for I think 7 years now, or close to 7 years. After my studies, when I saw that the country is so welcoming, so comfortable, I decided to live here. But when I came before I came here, I decided that once I come here, I will not stay longer than my studies. That is, after my studies, I return back to my country. But when I see the warm welcome and how entertaining, how nice the people are, I decided to change my decision. So, for someone that wants to that sees living abroad as an option, I think it's very good for such person to make a decision pointing at where I live now.
Okay, so Lena, why should for someone who wants to visit Russia, either for tourist, student, or someone that want to come and work in where you live, why should they come to your country?
Он спаси, когда человек хочет, например, туристик и придет сюда, почему, какой совет у тебя есть для их? Почему ты можешь ему или ей пригласить, что приедет к нам или в вашей стране?
В нашей стране очень много красивых мест, ну, если мы говорим о о туризме. Очень большая страна, очень богатая страна, очень много красивых мест, еще раз повторюсь. Вот. И людей тоже очень много хороших, добрых, открытых, улыбчивых, вот, которые рады гостям, гостеприимны.
Okay, she said, first of all, to start with, for foreigners that want to come here as tourists, that there are so many lovely tourist sites, very, very entertaining. Tourists will have spare time because there's so many historic sites they can visit in this place. And apart from that, they are open to foreigners. They are very open to foreigners. That foreigners will have, a good time being here, and for them to be here, they will never regret being here for the first time. And when they visit here, they will want to come back. They want to repeat such adventure again in the future because of how warming they are.
Okay, so for you, SN, where are you from originally?
Okay, I am from Ikot Abasi. Ikot Abasi is a district, or I can say it's a local government in Nigeria. So I'm from Ikot Abasi, local government area in Nigeria. So automatically, I'm a Nigerian.
When did you move to where you are now?
I came to where I am now, I think 2017, January.
Do you come as a tourist, student, worker?
Oh, that's a nice question. I came in here as a student. Yeah, because I came in here as a student. When I came, I studied the language for 9 months. And then already from Nigeria, where I came from, I already have my degrees. I finished so many universities over there. But the passion for study actually made me to decide to come here. So when I came, the first 9 months, I studied the language. After that, I studied the second master's, the third master's, and then PhD, and I just finished.
So you finish your PhD now?
Yeah, I finished my PhD.
PhD in what?
PhD International Relations, Global Studies, and Politics.
So when you finished, were you working whilst you were studying? How did you manage to fund your studies?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As a PhD student, you allow the law allows you to work as much as you can. As a matter of fact, they tell where you are working, they communicate with your school, with your university or your college where you are attending. They have a rapport to know how you work, to know how your well-being, to know your whereabouts, to know how you are studying and things like that, or how you are working. So PhDs, as a PhD student here, you don't just come to study. The school have a close interaction with where you are working. Yeah, they get feedback from where you're working, and actually that helps to improve your grade, or to improve, it boosts your academic performance. So I was working and I was studying, and then everything was going well.
When you were doing your masters, were you working, and did you funded your masters with the work you were doing, or did you have to get money from Nigeria to pay the fees?
Oh no, I wasn't actually expecting any money from Nigeria, because I resigned from the place I was working before. I from Nigeria, because in Nigeria I studied, not sorry, not I was. I studied peace and conflict resolution, and then I also studied criminology over there. So I was working with the Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution over there, and that was where I did my internship briefly. And then when I came here, I resigned and I came down here for further studies. So in that case, I wasn't expecting any fund from Nigeria. So I was only working here full time. And then from the proceeds of my work, I was able to enhance or further my studies, or pay for my study fee.
For someone who is planning to come and do masters where you are, would they be able to self-fund their studies whilst doing masters, not PhD, not PhD?
Okay. I think when we say PhD, you are
No, no,
looking
no,
at PhD.
no. PhD is fine. Master.
Your question is well understood, because what I want to make a clarification. I understood your question clearly. When we say PhD and maybe master's or undergraduate or bachelor, it's completely different from what we have in the Western countries like UK, America, and the rest of them, Australia, or maybe Nigeria. Here, PhD doesn't mean that you have to spend more. For example, a learner is studying, maybe he's doing his bachelor, for example. I am doing my PhD. What we are paying is the same thing. There's no discrimination. If a learner is paying, let's say, for example, 140,000 rubles, I, as a PhD student, am paying the same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference between what she pays from what I pay. So, which is why I said I understood your question clearly, because I came with that mentality that when you are doing your PhD over here, you pay more. No, it's the same thing. That's number one. Number two, I have somebody that studied in China, and then he wanted to apply for admission here, and I've been searching for school for him. He already have BSc from Nigeria. He have masters from China. And then he came here. He said he wants to apply for masters again. I didn't know. So I started working out admission for him for master's degree. All of a sudden, I got to ask him, is it the only place you study? Did you only study in Nigeria? He said, no. He studied in China. Ask him, what did you study in China? He said, he studied masters. I think petrochemical, something like that, engineering. I said, why didn't you tell me? He said, because he knows that in the Western country and Nigeria and other countries, for you to apply for PhD, you must have a professor when you have been accepted, and then before they can give you admission. That is number one. Number two, the fees for studying PhD and masters are not the same thing. I said, no, you should have told me from the beginning, because here the fees are the same thing, irrespective of what you are studying. You are studying PhD, I'm studying masters, it's the same amount you are paying. That's number one. Number two, we don't look for professor here in Russia. When you are studying we want to apply for PhD, just apply direct to the school. You don't need to look for apply to the professor a professor that is available, that can assess you, that can monitor your faces. We don't do that. You apply directly to the school. It is the responsibility of the institution to search according to your research topic, to search for the professor that's available, that can do the job, or that can monitor you, that can guide you. So it's not the responsibility of the student. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that it's completely different from what is obtainable in other parts of the world. PhD is seen here as, it's completely different. It's just as master's or like someone applying for a bachelor degree. Just apply, the university will search for the professor for you, and the amount you're paying is not different. The difference may be maybe 10,000, maybe 5,000. So it's the same thing. Compared to what we pay over there, PhD is sometimes double the price of what even master or bachelor pays. But here, the same thing. No difference in price.
Okay, so for someone who wants to come and do master's or PhD there where you are, in terms of the school fees, because money is very important for someone who's coming from, say, Africa, how much is the average cost of a master's?
The average cost for master's program, average 150,000 rubles.
How much is that? How much is that?
Можно смотреть, сколько стоит. Можно телефон пожалуйста? Let me say, because I don't know the current.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I will ask my.
Okay, смотри, 150.
How much is 150 rubles in American dollars?
Yes. That's 156.
So that is one. That is 1,700.
Okay. Okay.
Is that a year?
Yes, that's a year. You can see how cheap it is. And don't forget, when this money you have to pay for first comer or for a newcomer or a first timer, you pay this money once. Your visa will be ready. And now the subsequent year, the school will ask you. That is why I advise people to come here. The school will ask you, this money, do you want to pay it full at once, or you want to pay it instrumentally? You as a student, you have to decide. You know your financial capacity. You say, oh, I have the capability, I want to pay at once, or I want to pay twice, or I want to pay thrice. All they want to do is that they want to make education liberal, easy for everybody. As a matter of fact, maybe I can even challenge you or anyone that actually wants to know more. Go to the internet. I'm going to check the country where women are 98% literate. It is where I am today. 98. There's no illiterate. It's not possible. It's practically impossible to find an illiterate person here. It's not possible. You can check for yourself. It is practically impossible to find someone that doesn't know how to read and write. Everybody is substantially literate here. Why? Because education is made liberal and easy. And not only that, it is being substantiated. The government also, once you are able to have, let's say here, in Nigeria, we call it A, but here we call it 5. That is the highest grade. If you are able to obtain 5, let's say for someone that just finished high school, you obtain 5 or maybe 4+. You have free, you study from the beginning to end. Your bachelor degree is free. As a matter of fact, let me challenge you. When I was doing my master's, when I came here, I was the only one paying school fees. Everybody that was citizen, everyone that is a citizen, or maybe from different countries that has obtained citizenship here, was studying for free. I was the only one paying. So education is being made easy if you have, it's being made easy if you have a good grade.
Can I ask Elena, have you ever traveled outside your country before?
Can I translate to her for her?
Yes, please. Yes.
Если какая страна ты посетила, какая страна ты была? Только здесь или другая страна?
Я была как турист в Турции и на Кубе.
Cuba. Okay.
Да, Куба.
Okay. She said she only went for vacation because they love vacation here so much.
Where did she
She only
travel
went
to?
for vacation. She traveled to Turkey and then she traveled to Cuba. So those were the two countries she traveled to.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I remain your one and only Francis. At times, the way the media portrays certain countries might not be a true reflection of the country. So today, we have a Nigerian who is living in this European country and his lovely wife, Elena. They want you to have first-hand experience from them about what this country is actually like, because like I said before, the way the media portray it may not be a true reflection. So essence, for somebody who is watching now, because I can see Aremu and Rosemary on the line, guys, leave your comment in the comment section. When you eventually finish your studies, what is the average monthly salary that you will be earning? Average salary.
Okay. Before I answer your question, I want to give you a preamble, which will make our viewers understand clearly. First of all, someone came, a boy of 20 years came to study here. I invited him from Nigeria to come here and study, to come here for studies. This guy came and I told him that when you come here, it's not possible for you to live here without work unless you are lazy or you don't want to work as a student. Now, a boy of 20 years, he started working. Guess what? What he's earning now is 65,000 rubles. 65,000 rubles. 1 month salary he can pay, because just like I said initially, we pay school fees here per semesters. They will ask you, the schools will ask you, do you want to pay in full or instrumentally? So definitely he chose to pay twice. Now, 1 month salary pay his school fees for that semester, which is 5 months. Now he's expected to pay the next semester school fees in February. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if a student 20 years of age can pay his school fees without depending from any resources from home, then it is possible for any other person that wants to live and study here to foot his or her bill without stress. So upon graduation, you can earn up to, let's say, 120,000 of the currency of this country, and that 120,000 currency, the value of that 120,000 of the value of this currency, if you want to look it from where I am coming from, that's about 5 million for one month. And then life here is easy and affordable. Commodities in the shop and whatever is cheap. Accommodation is cheap compared to people that live in Europe, other parts of the Europe, of course, maybe America and things like that. Things here are cheap or even cheaper, and then affordable for someone who sees this place as a part or where to reside. So when you finish your studies and you decide to live here, then be assured that you have a good life, a good standard of living upon graduation.
So 120,000 ruble, that is about just under, say, $1,400. So in Nigeria, for someone living in Nigeria, that is more than 2 million a month. That is more than 2 million salary. And I did hear you before say where you are, you can easily get mortgage. If you want to buy a car, you go to the store. If you have good credit, just like it is in the UK, you will be able to get. Is that correct?
Perfect. For example, this is my wife. Now, I happen to become, I am a citizen due to the fact that I'm married to her. automatically I've become a citizen. Now, just my passport alone, I want to get a car, I want to get a house or something, I want to get a flat. I don't need to save. Just that passport that shows that I am a citizen covers everything. As far as I'm working, I can take whatever I want to take in mortgage and be paying gradual. I mean, the money will be deducted from my salary, every month. And what they what they will be deducting from my salary is just peanuts. I may decide I want to pay this money in 5 years. I want to pay this money in 10 years. Let's say, for example, I want to buy a car of 1.4 million and I'm earning 120,000. Now, the company can be deducting, let's say, 30,000 from my salary. And I will tell them I want to pay this money in 8 years, in 7 years. I have my brand new car. Now, if I'm earning 120,000, I want to buy a house. I don't need to save to buy a house. I don't need to save to buy a car. Just with my whatever, with my document I have, go to the bank or wherever, and then submit and fill a form. Each month, they remove 30,000 from my car, 30,000 for my mortgage for the house I want to buy, the house I want to live in. Then that is 60,000 has been deducted from my salary. Now I have 60,000 left. With 60,000, I can live a very comfortable life. Very comfortable life. Now, apart from that, by the time my wife gives birth to a child, of course, there's a stipend the government gives to that child. Maybe, for example, 900,000 rubles. That is once. Now, every month there's a stipend that is being given to the child every month, based on the number of children you have. If you have one child, you will having that money every month. If you have two children, two kids, you'll be having the money. And if you're having 3 kids, I have someone who is a Nigerian who got married to someone here, a citizen here, and they have 3 kids. And the government is paying every month because here it's not possible for somebody to live. I watch video in America, I watch video in UK, and I see people living on the street. It's not possible here. Practically impossible to hear that someone is living on the street. It's not possible because everybody here has accommodation, and the government has a package where when the mother gives birth, automatically she just go to the office and fill form. I've given birth. The government instantly release that money. That money is not actually meant for you to buy grocery. That money is to make sure that you keep that money or add it with whatever you have to make sure that you have an accommodation for that child that is coming. And that child must live in a house, must not live on the street. So the more children you have, the more the money. The more the money. Let's say, for example, you have a child, they pay you 13,000 or 14,000 or 15,000 of the currency. Now you have 2 children, multiply 13 plus 2. Of course, you have 26. If you have 3, I have someone who has 3 kids. They pay him 52 every month, 52,000 of the currency of this country. So that is even different from the initial amount that was given for accommodation. Okay. So he told me he's a Nigerian, so he said everything.
Okay. There are questions that have been left in the comment section. I will go through all the questions later. We've got lovely questions from Basi, who I think might be from the same state as you. On this channel, we always try to bring information because information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Today, this gentleman is going to be able to answer all your questions. Like I say, most of us, we get our information from the media. At times, what we hear from the media might not be a true reflection of what is happening on ground. This gentleman is a Nigerian, so he will be able to tell you directly. If you're seeing any value, you can show appreciation by giving this video a like, leave your comment in the comment section, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Let me ask your wife, Yelena, the lovely Yelena, when did you and Essence meet?
Он спросил, вопрос, который он спросил, он еще повторит вопрос. Когда мы встретились, как я тебе сказал, когда? Он спросил вопрос, когда мы встретились, первые встречи? Okay. She said we met 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. So you guys are not married, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how can someone live in this country without understanding the language? Because the question I asked, there's a question here saying, if somebody wants to come and study there, do they have to understand the language to get admission?
Okay, that's a very good question. You don't have to understand the language. Just file your document. I mean, send your whatever your proposal you want to study. They don't expect you to speak the language as long as you are not here. You are going to be admitted once you have the prerequisite requirement. You are going to be admitted based on your language over there. Let's say you speak Chinese. They will admit you based on Chinese. You speak English, you'll be admitted based on English, whatever certificate you have in English. If you speak French, the same thing. So when you come here, there's a program that is arranged for all foreigners. I underwent that program. You are going to study that program for 9 months. That 9 months is called preparative language course. So that language course is to prepare you for your study ahead. You want to come for master's degree program, for example. You are going to be put in a class with someone that is coming for undergraduate degree. It doesn't matter at that stage. You guys are the same. So upon graduation, when you finish your language program, you can go for maybe your PhD, your bachelor, your master's, and things like that. So, language is not a barrier.
Okay, so someone in Nigeria or Uganda or Kenya or Ghana who wishes to come to where you are to study, they can just apply to a university. So is there in the UK we have what we call UCAS, which is a central body if you're doing undergraduate. Where you are, for someone who wants to do masters, would they have to apply directly to the university?
Sorry, I think before I answer that question, I want to get it clearly. Applying directly to the university, is it excluding the preparatory language course?
That is something that you have to explain to us.
Okay. Now, when you want to study here, the first thing you do, you have your contact. Just like, for example, I just said about somebody that came from Nigeria to study. He's forwarded all his documents to me. I told him the requirements. I work as a coordinator, of African students that want to study here. So he forwarded all the documents to me, and I went to the school. I met the director of admission and blah, 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 and he told me what is needed to be done. Then all the formalities were met. And then that was for last year. And those guys are here now, so I'm talking to you now. And as a matter of fact, is one of those people I talked about that is working and is earning 20 years old boy. What is earning compared to what he's supposed to, if it's being converted to the currency where it's coming from, it's a huge money. So when he came here, he started with a language program first. Every other person passed through, whether masters or PhD, is the same thing. So once you pass through that process, that program, and then the following year you start your program, maybe bachelor, master, or PhD.
So would you have to apply to do the language first? Then when you are there, you then apply to the school, or you apply to the school, you have been offered admission, and from then you start with the language 9 months. Then after the 9 months, you go to the school.
Okay, I think for that issue, in that case, what you do is that when a student is applying from his country, from his home country, you are going to be given a form. I'm going to send you a form, for example, and in that form, you are going to decide what level you want to study, maybe master's or PhD or bachelor. So that you are going to be admitted based on what you want to study. Let's say you want to come and study PhD. Your admission, the school already know that you are coming to study PhD, but they are going to offer you program in the language program. So upon graduation of your language program, you go straight to to what you want to study. So irrespective of whatever you want to study, everything is being encapsulated in the admission you are going to be given.
Okay, so the school gives you admission, you do the 9 months language, then you move to the school. Is that correct?
Yeah, you move not move to the school, you move to the course or the level or the to the degree you want to study.
Yeah. So are you going to do the language course in the school that offers you admission? Oh,
Exactly.
Okay. Like that. Okay, in England we call that foundation. You do foundation course just to. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I
then
got you.
to elaborate more or a little on that is that there are some schools, just like the school I'm working with, there are some schools that we tell you, you are an English person, you come straight and study in English, straight. I have one or two schools like that. High School of Economics, I have one like that. So if you are the one to choose, I want to study in this medium, in the language medium. Upon graduation of the 9-month language course, you can now study your medicine or your geography, your political science in that language. But if you decide that, oh, I don't want to study in that medium, in that language medium, I don't want to study medicine or to become a medical doctor in that language medium, I want to study in English because English is my mother tongue or English is my first language. You have the choice to choose. So there are some schools like that that have such opportunity, but some schools don't have. Some schools they teach you the language program, and once you finish your language program, you study your main course in that language to
As a
become
student,
whatever.
as a student, can you bring your family with you?
Yes, it has to be stated. It has to be stated when you are filing your admission. I mean, when you are filing your papers, you have to state it clearly that I'm married or I have husband, I have blah blah blah. Now your visa will be given according to your spouse visa will be given according to your own visa because here they give visa every year, which is renewable at the end of the year. So your spouse visa is going to be attached to your own visa. Your kids, if you have a kid, your kid visa will be attached to your own visa.
Would your spouse have a visa that allows them to work?
Oh, that is a very good question. In this country, foreigners, I think it's the same thing with other countries. Foreigners are not allowed to work until you obtain your temporary residence.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, foreigner you can't just come here today and tomorrow you start working. Of course, as student you can work unofficially. For student, it's allowed. Unofficial work for student, you can work. But for somebody who is not studying, if you are from some neighboring countries that were under this country before, they have what they call a patent. So, but for someone from Africa, you are not patent doesn't cover you. So, what you need to apply for, you need to apply for what they call permanent resident. I mean, permanent residence here. So, once you have your permanent residency here, then you can work.
Okay. So is there any age restriction?
No age restriction.
Okay. And once you finish, say for instance, you're coming as a student, your family came with you, or your family decide to stay in your home country. When you finish your studies, would your family, if you now have permit, now have residents, would that automatically mean that your family will automatically have residents as well?
Yes. If you have a resident permit, of course, it's automatic. Your families can apply. Though they have to be applied, they have to apply because you can't just come without application. You have to apply. And because of your status, definitely they will be granted.
Okay. So are there a lot of Are there a lot of Nigerians and Africans where you are?
Yeah, there are a lot of Nigerians, there are a lot of Africans where we are. Many, but at least it's not as much compared to maybe UK and then maybe America and things like other countries like that. But there are a whole lot of foreigners, a whole lot of Africans, Nigerians that live here.
Okay. Can I ask Yelena, are you planning to visit Nigeria?
Sorry, can you ask the question again?
Yelena, is she planning at some point to visit Nigeria with you?
What is yes plan? Pues ya se va a Nigeria. На пример, как если со мной так.
Ну да, если бы у меня была такая возможность, я бы с удовольствием посетила Нигерию, вот, познакомилась с ее культурой, пообщалась с людьми, посмотрела, какие красивые места есть в этой стране. Да, это было бы прекрасно.
She said she actually had the intention. If she has the possibility, she would like to visit Nigeria to learn about our culture, to learn about to learn about how we live over there. For her, it's a great interest for her to visit Nigeria.
Okay.
She just want to know things.
Okay. We've got a question here from Young Daniel. So she says she would like to, she's planning to do PhD, she's considering PhD program. Can she have the names of some institution? I mean, you can send me the names and Young can contact me and I'll give you the names of the school, some of the schools where she might be able to apply. Young, as you can see, that you can reach me on my WhatsApp number. I would ask Essing to send me the schools and I'll forward them to you.
Okay, let me say, for now, I want to buttress on that point, what Ian said, or the question he asked, sorry. Right now, it depends on the time, because here admission is given only once. The admission door has been open since June, and of course, July, and this is August. So it depends on the time he wants to apply. If he wants to apply this year, then he has maybe short time to do that. But if he wants to apply in the nearest future, maybe next year, he should be looking at June, July, and August to forward his application.
So between June to August, that's when the admission window opens, right?
Not completely June to August, because I'm talking to you now. Some schools just sent me their letter that they don't accept. I should not collect or receive any. I shouldn't forward any admission or any application from foreigners. But so for some schools, they are still accepting. So I wouldn't want to say completely from June to August. Let's say from June to some school, from June to July, some school from June to August. So it's not completely it's not the same for every school, but it depends on the school. For some school, from June to July. For some school, from June to August.
Okay. So the language barrier for somebody who comes in from Nigeria, because there's a question about language. So when you arrive where you are, what do some of them speak English, or most of them don't speak English?
Let me say, from my own experience, when I landed in this country 7 years ago, as a matter of fact, I landed in their capital city. I couldn't speak the language, and then the metro, the person that came to pick me from the city I was heading to, we missed ourselves in the metro station. But guess what? When I missed him, I have to look for someone at least that speaks English. It was easy for me to get. It's not possible for you to meet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 persons that don't understand English. At least they may not be able to speak English perfectly, but they can be able to speak English to a reasonable level for you as a foreigner to understand. So it's not possible it's not possible for someone to meet 1, 2, 3, 4 people that don't know little of English, a little bit of English. Not possible.
Okay, what is the social life like in where you are? So can you go clubbing? You know, do they have those kind of things there?
As a matter of fact, when we finish this interview, I and Elena, we are going somewhere. So the social life is perfect. You know, in this place where we are, this country where we are, there are some cities that don't have night. They don't see night at this time.
I know.
From morning to night, the sunlight is always, the day is always 2 a.m. in the morning or 12 a.m. in the morning is the same thing as now. This is just 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. There's sunlight. 9 o'clock, the same thing. 10, 12, 11, there's no sun. Sorry, there's no day. Sorry, there's no night in some cities. But in some cities, just like where we are in this city, nightfall starts from, let's say, 10 p.m. in summer. Yeah, in summer. So nightfall starts from 10 p.m. and then from 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. From 2, the place becomes bright from 2 a.m.
Would you advise people in Africa to move to this country?
Perfectly. Perfectly. I would advise as many as possible that want to move here, they are welcome.
Why?
The country is welcoming, so entertaining. Nightlife is perfect. You have one or two places to visit at night. You are safe. You know, some part of the world, there are some places you don't go at night. Here, there's nothing like that. And then there's one thing I want to say about the crime rate. You are free to go to visit anywhere. The crime rate is so low that sometimes the police is being considered as redundant. You know, everybody is safe here. So as many as possible as can come, why not?
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. We're going to round up this interview now. Guys, you've been asking me the country. Don't worry. I'm not going to run this interview without giving you the country. The reason I want you guys to, I want you guys to first of all guess is because most of us, the view that we hold about something is based on the way the media construct it in our mind. At times, the media's construction might not be a true reflection. It is good for us to have open mind. So this is why we're hearing directly from our brother all the way there and his wife. So you can make up your own mind. On this channel, we believe that information is power. You can show appreciation by giving this video a like. Leave your comment in the comment section and subscribe if you haven't done so. So, Elena, why would anyone who wants to visit where you are, why should they visit and what should they expect? I heard a lot of things about the women where you are, that you guys are very friendly and lovely. Why should anybody visit your country?
Почему ты можешь пригласить людей, или почему ты хочешь, что люди или иностранцы приезжают сюда?
Ну, если люди будут просто приезжать в страну, чтобы посмотреть, что у нас за страна, да, смотреть, какая она большая, ее размеры, просторы, какая она красивая, вот, посмотреть и пообщаться с людьми, с русскими, вот, обменяться какими-то, ну, даже какой-то культурой в некотором смысле. То есть мы что-то можем рассказать о своей культуре, другие люди могут нам что-то рассказать о своих каких-то, да, культурных ценностях. Вот, то это будет хорошо и прекрасно. Вот. Я говорю, что в России всегда рады гостям, тем, кто приходит с миром, с добром, с улыбкой, с позитивом. Мы всегда рады таким людям.
Yeah, what she says that anyone that actually wants to visit this country, that they are very open-minded. They don't discriminate you based on your color, based on your religion, based on what you believe, what you stand for. That in this country they are so diversified. They have different nationalities, they have different religion, and they respect each other. And that is why they have been living in peace. They have been very peaceful people. They entertain or welcome foreigners. Now, what they expect from foreigners is that the foreigner that is visiting this country must have a positive mindset of himself, and he should believe in his country, in his own culture, or in his own religion. When you come here, you don't need, foreigners are not obliged to accept, how do I put it? Foreigners should come with their own culture because they want to learn from foreigners' culture. Come with your religion. We are not forcing you to become who we are. We are not forcing you to become, to learn, how do I put it? That they're not, they are not forcing anyone to accept their culture or their religion. Come with your culture, come with your religion, come with your own perspective. They are ready to learn from you and you learn from them. So it's interchange I mean, it's a situation of interchanging a perspective. Don't come and accept them because of you want to get blended. No, come and remain the way you are, and then because they believe in learning from you, and you will learn from them. That's what she's saying.
Okay. So one thing, when a lot of people think about your country, a lot of people think that racism is very, very high, as that for a black person that they will be killed the moment they go to your country. My Essence is still alive. They haven't. No one has killed him. Can you tell us, in terms of racism, what is it like in your country?
Resist. On bochesna, Elena Stances. Там есть очень плохая история, очень плохие новости, что в вашей стране вы расист. Но он взял пример от меня. То я уже живу здесь, мне все хорошо, все прекрасно. Он хочет знать, что от тебя. Что ты хочешь сказать о расизме в твоей стране?
Я считаю, что в моей стране настоящих расистов, которые прям вот в этом, ну, сильно уверены, да, и прям очень агрессивно настроены против людей другой национальности, таких очень-очень мало в России. Вот. На самом деле, я считаю, мое мнение, что русские люди не расисты, вот, они открытые, они позитивные, вот. Они готовы общаться с людьми другой национальности, чем-то делиться, обмениваться, договариваться. Всегда мы за то, чтобы был открытый, честный диалог, вот, и это всегда было с добром и улыбкой.
Okay, she said that in her country, that people are, people are open-minded, that they are not racist. Of course, there may be little fraction of people that have the old mentality, the olden days, people, there are some people like that. And he said it's not only synonymous to her country, it's synonymous to other countries. As a matter of fact, in her country, they are more open-minded than other countries like maybe America and blah, 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 other countries. In our country, they accept people not because of their color. Irrespective of their color, they accept people, they are open-minded, they are friendly, they are open for interaction, open interaction. So they want to hear your view, and they don't want you, it's not a must that you must accept their view. Come with your view, they will make a presentation of their own view, and you are the one to decide which one to follow and which one to believe and which one to discard. For them, they are not racist, and that I have been living here for a long time. There are so many people that have been living here, they don't have any negative expression or negative impression of racism in this country. Everybody lives at one, live as one.
Okay, so for Yelena, for an African, a black man who is considering dating a girl from your country, would you advise him to proceed?
Его вопрос сейчас. Он хочет знать, если, например, иностранный, может быть, из Африки, хочет отношения женщины или девушки с своей страны, что ты можешь какой совет ты можешь их дать? Или какой совет ты можешь им дать?
Я бы хотела дать совет такому человеку, который приедет из другой страны и влюбится в русскую женщину. Он должен ее уважать, он должен о ней заботиться, баловать, это понятно,
да.
Вот. Ей нужно много внимания от него, вот, и много общаться с ним. И я думаю, что у них все будет хорошо, потому что она обязательно это почувствует и тоже в ответ влюбится в него.
That the advice she can give to a foreigner or for any foreigner that wants to have a relationship, a meaningful relationship here, you have to be open-minded. You have to give attention to the woman, because here they give attention to women so much. You have to care for her, you have to support her, you have to try to know her point, her interest. You don't have to impose your decision on her. Try to get her own opinion, and then you have a amicable resolution of maybe a particular conflict or whatever. You don't have to impose. Just try to be, middle. Just like to play a kind of middle
Compromise.
interaction. Sorry?
Did you say you have to be able to make compromise?
Yes, there should be a compromise. You don't have to inflict. You don't have to impose. Let there be a compromise between the both of you. You care for her. You give her attention. You show her love, and everything will be okay. That the women are very are very heart opening for foreigners.
Можно еще добавить?
Давай.
Я считаю, что два человека любой национальности, русский и нигериец, американка и китаец, ну, примеры, да? Любые люди могут составить пару и создать крепкий, надежный брак. Если им этого захочется, они будут это делать, несмотря ни на что, не слушая никого.
Еще раз повторю, что ты сказал.
Если они захотят, два человека, например, как мы с тобой, или, например, американка, женщина, и китаец, мужчина, ну, я, к примеру, неважно какой национальности, да, вообще неважно, кто они, и даже, в принципе, какого возраста, если у них есть желание, уважение к друг другу, забота друг о друге и любовь, то они смогут 100% составить крепкую семью и брак на долгие годы.
That people from America, the Russian, какая страна еще?
Любая
страна. Any country,
вообще
maybe Russian.
Любой человек, любой женщиной.
Okay, any country, someone from any country, maybe Russian, America, France, Africa, whatever, Nigeria, and blah blah blah. That the most important thing is that for them to understand each other very well, that there's high percentage rate for them to live amicably. To have a long and productive relationship. The country doesn't matter for them. Where the foreigner comes from is not important. What is important is the soul and the heart of the person. That you must believe in your woman. You must care for her, give her attention, and everything will be perfect.
What is your experience of what have you learned about dating women from this country which you were not aware of before you moved there?
One, they are not demanding. Two, they are straightforward. Don't lie to them. Don't pretend. Tell them your mind. Three, once they say no, you don't need to persuade. Just stand. Don't need to beg. You don't need to beg. Once they say no, allow them to maintain their decision. Don't try to persuade them to change their mind. I think apart from that, just like she rightly said, attention is very important. You don't impose on them. They believe so much in culture. They believe so much in their culture. The culture they believe is that man must be the head. That's their belief. That's their culture. The man should take decision. The man should be able to take positive decision that will affect the relationship positively. You must not shift your responsibility as a man to the woman. You must make sure you stand up to your toe and face your responsibility for the woman to follow you. So for them, they believe that women are naturally created to follow. They are created to be directed and not for them to take the responsibility or play the role of a man. By the time they start playing the role of a man, the responsibility, the value of that relationship is completely lost. So for them, they believe that the man must be intelligent enough to take decision, must be man enough to make decision, must be responsible enough to do what should be done as a man. Then the woman or the women follow in direction of the decision that is made by the man.
Last question for you. Are they materialistic?
No. Just like I explained from the beginning, they are not materialistic at all. They're not. The women here are not materialistic, but all they need is attention. Let's say, for example, birthday. if it's her birthday, I should be able to remember today is her birthday, little gift, flowers, blah, blah, blah. It's okay for them. You don't need to provide heaven. You don't need to provide the earth for them. The little you have to present is okay for them. Flower is very important. You know, attention is very important. And walk. During the walk mean, during birthday, you can invite your wife or your spouse, whatever, for a walk. And then give her a surprise, maybe flower or whatever you have. They are not materialistic at all. But all that is important is attention that should be given to, that should be shown to the woman. And once that is done, everything will be okay. But once you don't give that attention to them, they feel as if you are not worthy, or maybe you are not supposed to be with a woman, because here the man takes charge of everything, responsibility of the home. The man actually shoulder the responsibility, make sure that the family, or maybe his spouse or whatever is okay. And that's, once that is done, everything will be in place.
So we're going to round this up now. Would you advise Africans to marry Russian women, African men to marry Russian women?
Yeah, for my own opinion, of course, there shouldn't be any barrier. There shouldn't be any restriction. There shouldn't be any restriction. Africans have been here for a very long time, and even up to date, they respect African. As a matter of fact, this is one of the countries where I see African is well respected and well honored. There are some places I visit. Everybody want to take snapshot with me. They want to shake hands with me. They just want to show that that impression, that positive impression, to see that, oh, this is somebody from a different culture. They want to come close to you. They want to know more about. They respect you. There are some places I visit, for example, everybody stand up to give me applause. That's the truth. Everybody stand up to give me applause. Everybody want to know your name. They want to know where you're coming from and why are you here and blah, 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 blah. And then if you have problem, they want to attend to you. So okay. It's as good as that.
Our time is up now. Guys, listen. We have heard from Essence that in this country, the lowest you will earn is 1,400 American dollars. That's the lowest you will earn. And school fees, you can go and do masters for as little as $1,400. And as a master student, you will be able to work and self-fund your masters. You've heard reasons why you should consider moving to this country, Russia. At times, the way the media portray a country, it may not be a true reflection. I'm not saying the media is biased, but at times it may not be a true reflection of what is happening on ground. Thank you so much, Essence and Elena, for coming to speak to us at the Launch Club. If you've seen any value with this content, please kindly share with anyone that you think will benefit, and subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thank you so much for your time.